Some things just go together. Wine and cheese, flowers in springtime, and yes, books and bottles. We pair your favorite author with your favorite drink. Your host of Books and Bottles, Benita Johnson.
Hi, and welcome to Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson. This is the show where we pair your favorite author, his or her work, with your favorite wine or beverage. We're excited to be back this week to introduce you to another fantastic author. So if this is your first time, welcome to Books and Bottles. And if you've been with us before, we appreciate you for coming back. Either way, please share. We want to grow our audience, and we know that you have friends who would love the content of this show. So today we have a wonderful author. This is a fiction work. I think this may be the first fiction of the season, our season 3. So without further ado, I want to welcome Miss Allor Henrique.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Benita.
Hello, Allor. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me tonight.
So we don't have a wine expert tonight, so it's me. But I'm going to tell you. So today when I was in the local grocery store, because a lot of times that's where I go to pick up my wine, because I like my wine $15 or less for my everyday wine. So I chose a wine that I thought was perfect for your book. And it's a head snapper. That's cute, right? It's a head snapper.
Love the label.
Yes, it's so cute.
Yes.
So it's a radiant red blend from California, full of Zinfandel. So full of life, lots of fruit, light tannins, and lots of acidity. And so when I think about romantic novels, I like that spice. I like that fruit. You know, I don't want it to be too overwhelming, because that's how we want our romance, right?
Exactly. Yes, just right.
Yeah. So the book that we are talking about today is your book that's called Venus Rising, A Second Chance at Love. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
So before we get into the book, let's talk about Allor, the author.
Okay.
So how'd you get started in writing?
I have been a romance fanatic since 2012. I got bit by the bug, and literally I read 200 books from May of that year to December. I want to say it was 2014. I was walking home one day from the train station, and I literally had a vision. I literally stopped in my tracks. I was kind of admiring someone's yard, and then all of a sudden, it was like I could see the entire facade of the house was gone, and I could see, like, the second level, a couple in this it was a romantic embrace. However, it was very emotional, and it was like immediately I knew their story. And I went home that night and I wrote that scene, and from there it blossomed. I mean, this couple has friends and, neighbors and things that now I have a whole, what I plan to be a series.
Okay. So did you feel like when you first started and you decided I'm gonna write romance, did you feel like there was a gaping hole in the romance fiction genre that we needed more Black love or more Black romantic books in that space?
I think that's always been the case, but I discovered some Black romance authors that just captured me. And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but my particular, I think, niche is, women over a certain age. Them, so many of us have, been married, divorced, or have loved and lost. So there's still a chance out there for us. So that was, that's what really speaks to me. And that's what I write about thus far. Is this group of friends who are each embarking on their second chances at love.
Okay. So how was Venus Rising born? Where did the second chance at love? So just a little bit, because our folks know I don't tell the story because we want people to buy the book.
Mhm.
So I know this lady was going through a divorce. She wasn't quite there yet when she met this man.
Right. And it was a mutual. It's one of her friends. It's her brother. So they had been to various events. They hang around in the same circles. So Venus was at the end of her marriage, she decided to say, you know what, forget it. It's not going to happen for me. But then Robert came along.
Yeah.
And yes, and she kind of pushed off for a bit. So you know how that goes. So she kind of was like, you know what, I'm over it. But he was persistent and consistent.
Yes. And at what I found about the book, it was so realistic in that aspect, because a lot of times, we've been hurt in these relationships, and whether it's marriage or just something that was long term, but it's over, and we're reluctant to explore what's right in front of us, right? And so
Exactly.
Robert was there, and as you said, he was consistent and persistent, and so we're reluctant. And so I think your book speaks to a lot of us.
Oh yeah.
So how much of your writing do you pull from your own personal life?
Oh my goodness. I think I am Venus.
That's your real name, Venus?
No, actually it's very close though. And actually Venus was a nickname that some people call me. Okay. So yeah, it stemmed from me, at the end of my marriage, and just, listen, I know there's something out there for me, but at the same time, I don't know, is it a little too late? So that's where it came from. And, just finding, the relationship, the right relationship, and so still to this day, I wrote this originally in 2014, thought it was finished, but it wasn't. So, the criteria that Venus had for herself, that's exactly my criteria, for relationships. So, art imitates life, right? So, that's what it was. And, there's some other stories coming, similar situations, similar but different.
So when you write and your family and friends, they know you and they know different aspects of your life, do they say, hey, Allor, this is you?
Oh, one of my church buddies, and this, oh my goodness, this beautiful woman is well in her 80s. She called me, she was like, blank, I just read your book. I know that's you because she got this and that, and she likes this and she likes that. I know that's you. I'm like, well, that's what I know.
Because I think a lot of us, who do write, we do pull from ourselves, and but sometimes it's not us. So I can just give an example. I wrote a book 11 years ago, and so folks said, this is you. It really isn't. I put together beauty salon stories, and so it just happens to be the ones that resonate with us are the ones that, yeah, I can see that happening to me. So it kind of looks like me, so it's not me. And so that's why I asked you that question.
Right. And my other characters too, they're all the other friends that you meet in the book. They're all different aspects of my personality as well. So, yeah.
They're all alter egos of you.
Yeah.
So when did you start writing? When was your first book?
So Venus Rising was actually the first book that I wrote.
Oh wow!
Okay. Back in 2014. However, I had no idea about publishing. I had no idea about what to do next. I had no idea. I didn't know if it was a short story, a novel, a novella. I had no idea. At the time, I sat on it, and thanks to another one of my author aunties, she put out a challenge for a group, for her group, who wants to write a book. If you want to write a book, I'll walk you through the whole process. So we started with it was a short story that became a series.
Okay.
And she led us through the entire process. And so that initial short story came out in 2019. And in that short story, you meet Venus, you meet her group of friends. So I use that opportunity to introduce the world to the characters living in my head.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So, what's your process? How do you sit down and you say, okay, now I'm ready to write this thing? Do you have a writing process?
Not really. I am a pantser. Fly by the seat of my pants. I write scenes. And you know what, Benita? It is amazing to me how these things just come together and work together. So Venus, for example, I wrote that first scene of, the couple I saw in the embrace. I was like, okay, like I said, I knew, for whatever reason, I knew these people, I knew the story. So I wrote that. And then the next thing I know, I'm writing what was originally the last scene in the book. So just to tie it all together, I knew exactly. And let me tell you, when I sat down, and I think it was like I started typing 2 hours later, 4 hours later. And then it was, okay, it's finished. Well,
once you get going, you just get engrossed in the energy and in the storytelling process, and you just finish it all up.
Yeah. And I thought it was finished in 2014. Thank goodness I did not publish it, I'll say, because I learned so much since then. Story structure, character development, etc. So I was able to incorporate a lot of that into the existing story and expand it. So Venus was my baby. It's my first paperback. The other 2 stories that I have out are ebook only. So, very, very looking forward to, putting out the stories of the other friends and, getting this series out, because it is definitely a series.
So what I hear when you talk about your process is discipline, because I don't have that. So I had started writing a book, and just, there are people like you, and unfortunately there's a lot of Benitas out there, in that, like, when you get with an editor and they say, okay, we need you to go back to the beginning and do a little bit more with the characters, and we get frustrated because starting over, it takes a lot to write a book, and I commend you and all authors out there. It takes a lot to put these words on paper and, do everything that comes with that. But to have an editor say, okay, this is great, but I need you to start over. You're 7, 8, 9 chapters in. I need you to go back to the beginning and do this to the characters. It's exhausting, right? Mm-hmm. So I do commend you for having that discipline to say, okay, in 2014, this wasn't ready. I need to go back and fatten up the characters and give them a whole lot of more depth. That's a big deal.
And it was very difficult to do, because just everything I've learned since then, to go back and try to figure out, okay, I need to, because, there is a such thing as, the characters are too perfect. And so that was my problem initially. So I had
you had to add some flaws into the book.
Yeah, I did. I had to do that and, show some growth and, and just, it was interesting to me how it came together. And, I had so many aha moments in the writing process. And it just, and my thing is, energy begets energy, and you get buoyed by the more you write, the better you write, the more you want to write. So it's such a great feeling. And by the way, I'm part Benita, because do I sit down and write every day? No. No.
Girl, you don't be part Benita. Benita has the least amount of discipline in anybody you know. So what were you, before you were an author, what were you doing?
Okay, so I'm a part-time author. I do it in my spare time. I worked in commercial lending for 32 years. I retired from one of the big 3 banks. So I started working for a mortgage company, where I still am. And so I write in my spare time. I mean, I was married. All my children are grown. So I have a lot of time. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I do have time. As long as I'm not sitting in front of the TV with the clicker, then, for the most part, reading, because I'm still an avid reader and I love audiobooks as well. So,
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I listen to, folks are always like, what podcast do you listen to? I have so many books in my Audible library that I haven't gotten to yet. I really don't have a whole lot of time for podcasts.
Right. Oh, and I just recently got into a particular podcast, which I love. I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
What podcast is that?
This is a podcast by T Styles called Best Friend in a Handbag.
Okay.
Yes, it is that. It is.
Okay.
That. Yeah.
So I'm going to shout out, since we're shouting out podcasts for this second. So I got 2 that I listen to when I have time. Well, one I listen to all the time. It's called Diaspora Food Stories. So that's my nonfiction and, very serious. And I'm going to learn some history one. And then I listened to this other podcast. It's called And Then We Had Sex. Now, if you want to have some fun, listen to that one. Okay.
Okay. I'm writing them down, girl.
Yes, that one is a whole lot of fun.
What was the first one? I'm sorry,
Diaspora Food Stories, and I'll make sure I send it to you, and I invite our listeners, because it's an amazing, if you care about our history and where we've come and our influence on food, that's huge.
Yeah, I love that because I'm a foodie, and I love it. I don't know if you got that out of from reading Venus.
Yes, because I can see myself in her, and that's one of the things that help readers connect to your story, so we can see ourselves.
Right.
We can see ourselves. And I can see her, like, when she was when she first met Robert, you're reluctant because we already been through this, and that a lot of us can relate to that. Like I said, whether it's a marriage or just a long-term relationship that's ended, we can see ourselves, falling for a person, but it's like, how do you know this one is real, right? And so you don't want to put all your energy into that, but he keep coming up with these perfect days and scenarios, and he's there right on time. It's like, come on, God, what you doing?
Yeah.
And so yes, I think what I liked about Venus Rising, A Second Chance at Love, is that sometimes we don't give ourselves enough grace to feel like we're worthy of this and this, what this is. Nothing is perfect, but some things are perfect for us.
Right. Exactly. Very well said.
Yeah. So, all right. So you're still writing. What's next?
What's next is Lisa. Venus's friend Lisa. You met Lisa. You met her love interest as well in Venus Rising. So what's going to happen with Lisa and Keenan? So that's the next story. And I'm delving into a little, I want to call it paranormal? Well, there's some clairvoyance things going on in there too. So it's a little deeper, and there's some, those ugly issues that some people have to deal with, that gets, talked about and dealt with. So, yeah.
But it's real. And I like, this book because it is so real. So I expect and anticipate that your next book is still going to deal with that realness and stuff that we deal with out in these streets.
Absolutely. It certainly, and yes, and there's going to be some of that too. And so Lisa's a widow. She's a single parent because she's a widow, and Keenan is very interesting. So, and Keenan is a former professional football player. So what people think with the pro ball players,
Yeah.
So of course that's in the back of her mind, and she's dealing with that and dealing with some other stuff that, tend to be a little stifling for her.
Okay, so in this one, I guess the folks are a little younger. She's dealing with a pro ball player.
No, he's a former. I'm sorry. He's a
I got it. Okay.
He's a former football player. Yes, this is one of Venus's best friends.
Okay.
So he's a former professional football player, now running his own business, and he has a foundation. So, yeah.
So was it a conscious decision to select characters who were a little bit more seasoned, a little older, because so many books that we read about romance and things we see on television or in movies about romance, the heroines tend to be 20s and 30s, but yours are a little bit more mature. Was that a conscious decision?
Absolutely, because I do not speak young people language no more. I really don't. So I don't know how they talk. I don't know what they be talking about. So I'm like, you know what? And again, based on my experience, me ending my marriage, knowing, okay, you know what? This ain't it for me.
Yeah.
So, I had that thought, even though I was, still, being very, paying very close attention and, and not just falling for, anything. So, so that was definitely my intention, was to give women 40 and older their second chance. So, and you're also going to see another woman later on who is well over 40s, getting her second chance as well.
Girl, if you need somebody to interview, I'm 50 something.
So. As am I.
Yes. Because, we have, and it's important to know, and which is why I asked the question, that, we do have probably some similarities, but I think as we are more seasoned, we do have a different set of issues when it comes to relationships. I mean, I think our trust factor dwindles. We definitely become more guarded. And so, a lot of us have definitely just decided to, like, you know what? I'm going to take the rest of my journey by myself. Yeah.
Yep, that is so true. But I am here to let us over 40-year-olds know that love is always a possibility. Listen.
I love it.
Good love too. Correct, right love.
That's right. Yeah, and that's important.
Right for you, what's right for me, may not be right for the next person, but we're gonna find our Mr. or Miss Right, whatever it is that we want. The right one is out there. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. I gotta cheers to that, sis. That's the truth. So, where can people find your book?
I sell through Amazon. My author name, Allor Henrique, and I have a website, allorofromance.com, which when you click on the link for the book, it'll take you to the Amazon page. So, that's where you can find me. I'm also my social media. I'm on Instagram, Allor Henrique. I'm on Facebook, Allor Henrique. And I have a Facebook group, Allor of Romance. Feel free to join the group, please.
I'm definitely going to join the group. What do we talk about in the group?
Oh, we talk about, I do affirmations. I put out affirmations. I put out just quotes, tips, suggestions for, just keeping the romance alive in your relationship, tips and quotes to help people. And if you're not in a relationship, to kind of, encourage you, if in fact that's what you want, to, seek out, what you want.
Okay.
I have a couple that I want to interview. I have a few couples that I'm going to interview soon. One particular couple, they've been together, I want to say 20 years. And let me tell you, this particular couple, I mean, I just hear about all the spiciness with them. So I'm like, I have to get you all on my live. Just give us some tips and tell us, basically, how do you keep that fire? How do you keep that spark and, continue to just, be romantic and surprise each other with things like that? I have another couple who are best friends. I want to know how that works. How y'all stay best friends?
Girl, I know, because I was married for a while, and I'm like, at some point we don't even like them no more, so I can relate.
So I have those couples, and I'm gonna be doing some exploring, some for research purposes a little later on. I want to see, if I can, interview possibly a polyamorous family.
Okay.
I want to know the dynamics of that. How does that work? I'm very interested in that because I got something brewing in the back of the mind here too.
Oh, I like that. So we're gonna stay connected, sis, because I feel you on that. So I want to tell you, I really appreciate you being on Books and Bottles. I know we've been communicating a lot in the messenger. So I'm proud to finally have you on our show. We appreciate you, and we want to have you back. And I'm definitely going to join your Facebook group.
Please.
And I encourage our viewers to enjoy it, to join it as well, because I got some trouble to start. I want to be in the group.
Listen, I love it. Yes, we're going to talk some stuff. I go live. My new schedule will be, I'll be doing lives on Wednesday nights at 8:30, not tonight. But that's going to be my new schedule going forward. And I encourage, please, if you come across something, a quote, or
Send it to you.
Please, feel free to post it and I can approve it. So, and it's, romance related, relationship related. And we also give, warning stuff. My thing, I had a woman who has a support group for men and women. And she was talking about the romance scams. I had her on live and she, gave some really great information. So, anything romantic, it doesn't have to be all flowers.
We'll be there.
It could be some real life.
Romance ain't always pretty. So we're going to be there, and we're going to be a part of your group. So
Wonderful.
Again, I appreciate you, and we're going to be talking to you real soon. We're definitely going to have you back.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, sure. So to our viewers, we appreciate you for tuning in. If you're an author, please hit us up at info@grosprod.com if you'd like to be a part of Books and Bottles. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you for sharing. Until next time, cheers.
Cheers.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for